I have had the iPhone 15 and 15 Pro from the day they came out, and I have made a lot of videos about them individually and even compared them with a lot of other smartphones, but for some reason I never got around to comparing their cameras with each other. I have also been getting a lot of questions like if the cameras on both these phones are the same, are the cameras on the iPhone 15 Pro really much better than the ones from the iPhone 15? And some of you even wanted to know if the cameras on the iPhone 15 Pro are really better than the ones from the regular iPhone 15, or is Apple just trying to trick us to squeeze more money out of our pockets? And I must say, these are all valid questions. Over the last 9 or 10 months, I have used both these phones extensively and captured over 6,000 images with each of them. So I have a ton of image and video samples from both these cameras in all sorts of lighting conditions to compare against each other. So in this video, I am going to put the cameras on the iPhone 15 against the ones on the iPhone 15 Pro and try to put all of your questions to rest. First and foremost, these questions or the confusion comes up a lot more in markets like India because there is a huge price gap between both these phones. At their current prices, you can almost buy 2 iPhone 15s at the price of one iPhone 15 Pro. For that extra price, the 15 Pro gets 3 cameras and a LiDAR sensor on its back, whereas the regular iPhone 15 gets only 2 cameras on the back. Now I have well over 100 image and video samples from each of these phones to show you guys. So to save some time, I will talk about the specs of these cameras as we are checking the image and video samples. Let us begin by checking out the daytime shots from both the phones. As I said, I took these images over the last 10 months and I traveled to Delhi, Agra, Mumbai, Pune, Pachmadi, Nagpur and a few more places during this time. And I took a lot of image and video samples everywhere I went. So you are going to be seeing a glimpse of all of these cities in this video. Up until last year, Apple just gave us a 12 megapixel main camera on the non-Pro iPhones, while the Pros got a 48 megapixel sensor behind their main camera. This changed with the iPhone 15 series and now we get a 48 megapixel main camera across the entire lineup. Of course, the image sensors are a bit different, but you can finally take high resolution shots with the regular iPhone 15 as well. Both the phones capture 24 megapixel binned images by default with their main cameras, so these images have a lot of details in them. Even as I zoom in, it is difficult to say that one has captured noticeably more details than the other, and I think this in itself is a big win for the main camera on the iPhone 15. There are however a few subtle differences between the shots. Ones from the iPhone 15 Pro have slightly more contrast in them and appear to be slightly underexposed, while ones from the iPhone 15 seem to be a bit brighter. I must admit, these shots look very similar, and I don't think we have seen a regular non-Pro iPhone get so close to the Pro iPhones in terms of image quality. If you look closer, in this shot, I feel the iPhone 15 Pro captured slightly green tint, whereas the shot from the iPhone 15 looks a lot more natural. Now this is a tricky shot because there was a ton of light in the background, but both the phones seems to have handled that really well. That being said, overall colors and skin tones look much better in the image from the iPhone 15 Pro. Even the indoor daytime shots look almost identical from both. While both of them have a very similar 48 megapixel main sensor, the processor is different on both the phones, so any difference that we see between these images is a direct result of the image processing on their part. It's a bit hard to notice straight away, but thanks to the slightly brighter colors, I feel the regular iPhone 15 is showing a bit more saturated colors, and frankly, I'm liking its images a bit better. Since iPhone 15 Pro's images are a bit underexposed, their colors also look slightly dull when compared next to the shots on the iPhone 15. Now I'm actually surprised by how little difference there is between the shots from both these phones. And for the slightest difference in the way they capture colors, I actually prefer the shots on the iPhone 15, which is an even bigger surprise because someone who is paying extra for the iPhone 15 Pro would definitely expect to get a lot better results out of the camera on their phones. Hopefully we will start seeing some better results from the iPhone 15 Pro's cameras as we check out the images in more challenging conditions. Before we move on to the HDR shots, here is a quick message from this video sponsor, magbak. They make these silicone cases for smartphones with some of the strongest MagSafe magnets built in. This case has a very soft touch feel to the back which feels amazing and provides a ton of grip to your phone. You can attach various MagSafe accessories to the back of this case like this magbak wallet. You can easily fit 3 cards and some cash when the wallet is new, but once you break it in, it can hold up to 9 cards, which is just amazing. The best thing is, this magbak wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. They make even more accessories for your gadgets like this 3-in-1 wireless charger which can charge an iPhone, AirPods and an Apple Watch at the same time. It even comes with a charging brick which supplies enough power to charge all these devices simultaneously. By using this wireless charger, you can get rid of all the wire clutter and make your setup look clean. Along with iPhones, magbak makes these cases for Google and Samsung flagship smartphones as well, and they also have a lot of other accessories for your devices. To check them out, click on the link in the description and make sure to use the discount code TW15 at checkout to get a 15% discount on your order. For the last few years, Apple has been struggling a lot with the HDR mode on their iPhones, and with the iPhone 15 series, they were able to make it immensely better compared to previous iPhones. This was a very challenging shot. There was bright light reflecting off the white Taj Mahal. I was in shade and I had a few trees in front of me, some of them in shade and some of them in the sun. Fortunately, both the phones did an excellent job of exposing every element properly. I feel the iPhone 15 Pro did slightly better here, as we can see the warmth in its image which was actually there since it was a very sunny day. And the iPhone 15 tried to cool that tone down a bit. This was another challenging condition where there was bright light outside the window and dim or next to no light indoors. I've seen some previous iPhones completely mess up this type of shot. But both the iPhone 15 and 15 Pro made sure to balance the light in this scene really well. Even when the sun is directly in the frame, both these phones won't let it completely blow up the highlights, but at the same time they will also bring up a lot of details on the shadows. Since the regular iPhone 15 tries to capture a bit brighter shots, in some of the images like this one, it almost overexposed the brighter parts in the image, while the iPhone 15 Pro is slightly better at handling these kind of things. It's great to see Apple getting the HDR mode right this time, and what's even better is that they didn't let the iPhone 15 fall behind the Pro iPhones in this department. This improvement in the HDR mode can be seen across all the cameras on both these phones. But before we move on to the other cameras, let us check out the 48 megapixel shots from both these phones. The only difference that you might see straight away in both these 48 megapixel shots is that the frame on the iPhone 15 Pro is a couple of millimeters wider than the iPhone 15. That's it. Even as I zoom in, I can barely see any difference between the two 48 megapixel shots, which is a bit surprising as the sensor on the iPhone 15 Pro is slightly larger, which theoretically means it has bigger individual pixels, which should actually help it capture slightly more details. But I'm not seeing those extra bit of details here even after zooming in 5 to 6 times. If anything, I feel there is a bit extra sharpness in the shots on the regular iPhone 15, which makes its 48 megapixel shot actually feel a bit more detailed. Now something else that the 48 megapixel sensors allow us to do is take 2x lossless zoomed in shots by using just the middle part of the sensor. What this does is gives us an additional focal length on both these phones without actually needing to put a separate camera and lens combo at the back. So it makes the dual cameras on the iPhone 15 act like a triple camera setup, and the triple cameras on the iPhone 15 Pro now act as a quad camera setup. As I zoom in further on these 2x shots, we finally start noticing some extra details in the shots on the iPhone 15 Pro. But given the fact that you have to zoom in so far to notice this little difference, again feels like a point in favor of the iPhone 15. Now we are still very early in this comparison, but so far the iPhone 15 definitely seems to be the one to go for. If you think 2x zoom doesn't cut it for you, then you can hit the 3x button on the iPhone 15 Pro and it will switch to the dedicated telephoto lens. You can digitally zoom into 3x on the iPhone 15 as well, but this is just digital zoom and not optical like on the iPhone 15 Pro. Here we can clearly see that 3x shots on the iPhone 15 Pro are much cleaner and detailed. The iPhone 15's image also has a bit more digital noise in it. Now if you want, both the phones give you an option to keep on zooming in digitally, but I feel like beyond 3x digital zoom on the iPhone 15 and beyond 5x on the iPhone 15 Pro, the images just start falling apart. I would suggest you guys to stick to the 2x on the iPhone 15 and 3x on the iPhone 15 Pro to get the cleanest zoomed in shots. If you think you need even more zoom range, then you might want to check out the iPhone 15 Pro Max, as it gets a 5x optical zoom lens in place of the 3x one on the iPhone 15 Pro. Now please tell me this, that do you guys zoom in a lot while taking your images? If yes, then what would be the best focal length for you guys, 3x or 5x? Please let me know in the comments. Both the phones get 12 megapixel ultra wide angle cameras, and unlike the zoom lenses, these ones let you see a much wider perspective of the scene. This lens comes in very handy when you want to capture something but there is not enough space for you to move back, or when you want to show the scale of things. The sensor and the lens combo for the ultra wide angle camera is pretty much similar on both the phones, so any changes that we might see in these images is purely based on their individual image processing. The sharpness and details in the ultra wide angle shots from both the phones are not as good as the images from their main cameras, especially around the edges of the frame. I wish we had slightly better resolution sensors behind these lenses. These wide shots are definitely an improvement over previous generation iPhones, but not by a lot. And again, we see a slight green tint in this shot from the iPhone 15 Pro, like we did in a couple of images at the beginning, whereas a regular iPhone 15 makes this shot look more natural. The ultra wide angle lens on the iPhone 15 Pro has another card up its sleeve, but we will get to it in a few moments after checking out the close-up shots. The minimum focusing distance while taking close-up shots is slightly better on the main camera of the iPhone 15. In simple terms, this means you can get slightly more closer to your subject on the iPhone 15 than on the iPhone 15 Pro while taking close-up shots. We saw this when I compared the cameras on the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 as well, but that time the 14 Pro had a much larger 48 megapixel sensor and the 14 had a smaller 12 megapixel one. This time both the phones have large sensors, but Apple could somehow get the minimum focusing distance on the iPhone 15 slightly better than the iPhone 15 Pro. I am not an expert in lens optics, but this is beyond my understanding. Apple sort of tries to make it up by giving you an option to take 1.2x shots on the iPhone 15 Pro, which in a way makes its close-up shots almost similar to the ones from the iPhone 15 Pro. All that being said, once clicked, close-up shots from both the phones look really good. The subject is in perfect sharp focus and the background gets a very nice bokeh. I feel like the iPhone 15 Pro is capturing slightly better or true to life colors in these indoor artificial lighting conditions. Despite of that, if I had to choose one, I would pick the iPhone 15 for my close-up shots as it is capturing almost identical images to the much pricier iPhone 15 Pro so far. If you want to get even closer to your subject, 15 Pro will let you take macro shots with the ultra-wide angle camera. The iPhone 15 doesn't get this feature. Look at how close I can get to the subject and the phone is still able to set the focus and take incredibly good looking images. While taking some of the macro shots, I just wish there was optical image stabilization behind the wide lens as well. Because when you are so close to your subject, even a minute vibration or a jitter could end up in a blurry shot. Now thanks to this ability of taking macro shots, the 3 cameras at the back of iPhone 15 Pro actually give us 5 different focal lengths. Since the wide cameras on both these phones are pretty much similar, I wonder why Apple did not give us this option on the iPhone 15. Now we come to the portrait shots. This is my favorite mode to shoot in on any smartphone as it makes your images look a lot more professional and make them stand out from rest of the normal looking shots. This time Apple made it easier than ever to capture these portrait shots. Many times it happens that you forget to switch to the portrait mode while clicking your image. So what both these phones do is whenever they see a face in the frame or when you have tapped on a particular part of the scene to set the focus on it, both of them start capturing the depth information as well, and if you want, you can make these portrait shots with just a couple of clicks. I feel like the portrait shots from both the phones look amazing. I think by default the f-stop number is set to f1.8 for these portrait shots, and that might make your portrait shots a bit unnatural because at this value the background blur is too aggressive. I suggest lowering the f number to something like f3.5 or 4.0 to get the best possible results. Edge detection is excellent on both, but the iPhone 15 Pro is slightly faster at detecting these edges thanks to the LiDAR sensor on its back. If you want to, you can take 2x zoomed in portrait shots with both the phones, but the iPhone 15 Pro lets you go a step further and take the portrait shot with the telephoto lens as well, and these ones look just amazing. These zoomed in portrait shots have a focal length close to 85mm, which is the preferred focal length of professional photographers while taking portrait shots. You can see a very nice separation between the foreground, subject and the background in these portrait shots. Because of how good it is, I ended up taking a ton of portrait shots with this iPhone 15 Pro. So out of the two, iPhone 15 Pro is definitely my choice for taking portrait shots. I forgot to mention that the auto portrait mode on both these phones also works while you are taking portrait shots of your pets. Many don't know this, but you can take portrait shots of objects as well. Again, the edge detection in these shots is near perfect, and this mode is actually like taking close-up shots without actually having to be too close to your subject, which as you can see in these images is in perfect sharp focus and the rest of the background or the foreground if any is blurred out. In this shot, we see LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 15 Pro helping it detect the glass much better, while the iPhone 15 Pro has blurred some part of it which should have been in focus for this particular shot. With that, we come to the images which are taken indoors, artificial and lower lighting conditions. Both the phones have big 48MP image sensor, optical image stabilization and a wide aperture to let in all of light, all of which helps in taking such good looking images in less than ideal light. Both of them also capture binned images which helps in keeping the noise level down. In artificial light, 15 Pro captures actual colors while the iPhone 15 tries to cool the color down a bit, which might result in the colors in its images being slightly different than the ones that you could see with your own eyes. Last year we saw the iPhone 14 competing really well with the iPhone 14 Pro right till we moved to the low lighting conditions. But this year the story is completely different. iPhone 15 has been neck to neck with the iPhone 15 Pro in terms of camera performance throughout, and I'm really impressed with it. As we get to even lower light, 15 Pro starts capturing more light so its images are a bit brighter. Both the images are surprisingly noise free even in such dark conditions. These phones don't switch to the night mode until it is very dark, which is a good thing. Yes, night mode captures more information and details, but it also takes a lot more time to capture the shot, which means there are a lot more chances of the shots being blurry if you are not very careful. When the light gets low enough and the night mode kicks in, their images have even more details and less noise. Since their image sensors are big enough, the night mode doesn't take too long to gather all this light. Zooming in shows that the iPhone 15 Pro's images have a tad bit more details and maybe a hair less noise, but honestly, the iPhone 15's images are also not that far behind in this comparison. Given the difference in their price, anyone would expect the 15 Pro to be much ahead and take noticeably better images than the iPhone 15. But looking at these images, that doesn't seem to be the case. The only noticeable difference between these two shots is, frame on the iPhone 15 is slightly wider since it has a 24mm lens instead of the 26mm one in front of the main camera of the iPhone 15. I feel the only advantage the iPhone 15 Pro has in these or any of the other lighting conditions is that it lets you take ProRAW images in 48MP, so you can manipulate its images a lot more and make them look as you want without too much noise creeping in. Whereas there is not as much information in the iPhone 15's images, so you cannot push its images as much while editing. The ultra-wide cameras on both the phones are not the best when you get in less than ideal lighting conditions like this indoor shot. But as you can see, the 15 Pro did a much better job and captured a lot less noise compared to the iPhone 15. This carries over when we get to even lower lighting conditions. These are not night mode shots, but we can still see the ultra-wide angle lens on the iPhone 15 Pro capturing much more light and information and an overall much cleaner looking image. Even when the night mode kicks in, wide lens on the iPhone 15 struggles a lot, but the one on the iPhone 15 Pro manages to take in a lot more details, and its processing also does a lot better to keep the noise levels down. I think this might be the only place when the iPhone 15 Pro is noticeably ahead of the regular iPhone 15. So if you take a lot of low light wide shots, then you can go for the iPhone 15 Pro. That brings us to the front facing cameras. I took a lot of selfies too, but since the selfie cameras on both these phones are pretty much the same, the images coming out of them are also almost identical. So I won't be talking too much about these selfies. Basically, these ones look really good from both the phones, actually much better than any of the previous generation iPhones. When you're taking portrait shots, the edge detection is great from both the phones, and as I said for the portrait shots from rear camera, make sure to lower the f-stop number to f3.5 or 4.0 to get most natural looking bokeh in your portrait selfies. Here is a video from the front facing camera of the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 15. You can see how both these phones are handling the overall colors of the scene, exposure and stabilization when I'm walking around with them. It is also pretty noisy here, so you guys can let me know in the comments which one do you think is picking my voice better. Both of them can shoot videos in the cinematic mode with their front facing camera, and that is what I am shooting these videos at. The key to make these videos look the best is shoot at a higher f-stop value. Right now I am shooting at f8.0 and I think this gives a pretty good looking video. We won't be spending too much time with the videos as well because they also look very similar from both the phones. Details, video resolution and frame rate options are exactly same on both the phones, so you can shoot at a maximum resolution of 4K 60fps from all the cameras on these phones. If something is different, then that is the amount of zoom they can achieve while shooting these videos. Videos on the iPhone 15 just can't match the quality of the zoomed in videos of the iPhone 15 Pro. This is all thanks to the extra telephoto lens. So if you need to reach further while taking your images or videos, you can definitely go with the iPhone 15 Pro. Videos from the ultra-wide angle lens look great from both the phones. I think the videos coming out of these ultra-wide cameras are much better than their images. The whole frame looks sharper from both the phones, and I don't think the edges of the frame of these videos are softer like the images from these cameras. These ultra-wide videos again come in handy when you want to show scale of things and when you don't have enough space to move back. So those were all of the image and video samples that I had for you guys. Other than in a very few specific cases, frankly I don't see that many differences in the images from both these phones. 15 Pro gets a few more image and video shooting options like the extra zoom range, zoomed in portrait shots and the macro shooting ability, but after looking at over 100 image and video samples in this video, I don't think the difference between the images from these phones is in any way proportional to the difference in their prices. In some cases, the iPhone 15 Pro's images had more details and its ability to let you take macro and telephoto shots is definitely an added advantage, but other than these very specific situations, images from both these phones look almost identical. I love to take images with my phone, and since a few years, whenever I go on a vacation, my phone is the only camera which I carry. Despite of that, if I was trying to decide between these two phones, I will definitely go with the iPhone 15. I just don't feel like the cameras on the iPhone 15 Pro are worth the extra 50 or 60,000 rupees, at least for me. If you are trying to decide between getting these two phones, after looking at all these image and video samples, which one would you go with? Please let me know in the comments. That is it for this video guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for a lot more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.